Thanks so much for being on the show. It's so great to finally meet you.
Oh, lovely. Yes. Thanks for having me.
Perfect. So why don't you tell everybody your kind of your backstory, your history, how you where you're born, where you came from, and how you migrated to Portugal.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Cape Town, South Africa, and I moved to Portugal in 2015 after living in the Middle East for quite some time. I moved from Dubai originally, and I also lived in Qatar. So this will be my sixth year here in Portugal.
Wow, that's amazing. How did you move from South Africa to Dubai? What made you just leave there and head up Middle East?
I was working in the Middle East. I was working within Emirates Airlines. So I was working as a flight attendant there. I was looking for like a normal life, as flight attendants often refer to it, where you have proper hours, where your weekends are time with your friends and your family. So my aim was always to be within Europe, but having a South African passport, it's not that easy to get in. But I was lucky enough to receive a job offer when I was on a flight from Portugal back to Dubai, and it was something completely different from what I'm doing right now. But it was a stepping stone, and it was the best opportunity that I had.
Wow, that's amazing. So had you gone already to Portugal before? Like had you visited Portugal from
Yes, I have. Yeah, so I've been on several flights on layovers, like traveling for work, and then also I went on holidays as well. So I've traveled a bit in Portugal, and actually just before moving here, I went to the north of Portugal and then also Madeira Island.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. So you went there not really you don't have family there, correct? In
No,
Portugal?
no.
Wow, you're just a free spirit. You're just, I personally could never move to another country but by myself.
Definitely. If I look back at it, I think I was a bit crazy, but it was good. It was a good opportunity for me as well. So yeah,
Wow, that's
I
so
took
great.
it.
So
Yeah.
you've been living there since 2015.
hmm
So what made you commit to staying there for as long as you have?
It's a mixture of things. I really like Portugal a lot. I feel like I've settled in really well here. I've made a good couple of friends, and then also after arriving to Portugal, like literally 3 months later, I met my husband.
Oh,
So
wow.
so exactly. So then from there, I was just at first I wasn't sure how long I was going to stay here in Portugal, because you never know how you're going to adapt, if you're going to enjoy it. And the plan was initially just to stay for like a couple of months, and then probably I would go back. But then I met him, so it changed.
Oh my gosh. So after 3 months, you met your husband, and then
Yeah.
did you guys get married shortly after, or how long did
It was about 2, 3 years after we
Oh,
got married. Yeah, we got married here in Portugal, and then after that we did like a big celebration with his family and friends, and all of them traveled to Cape Town. So we had
wow.
quite a nice experience on a beautiful wine farm in South Africa.
Oh, that's so
Cape Town.
amazing. So all your friends and family could see him and meet him
Yeah.
and enjoy the
We went.
festivities.
We also went the year before, so that he could meet some of my friends, and then my mom also came to visit, so she's also met him here in person before that. So
Oh,
yeah.
good. Well, at least you didn't spring it on them.
Yeah, yeah.
So, so when you first moved to Portugal, what was your first impressions? I know you already visited there and went on vacation, but actually living there is completely different. So how was your impression after a couple months of living there?
Yeah. So I had the privilege of traveling within Europe. Like as I said, I was a flight attendant, and then for a very long time, Spain was my favorite country. And I haven't visited Portugal, but I always said like in Europe, Spain is the best place to be. And I found when I came here the very first time, I found this to be a very charming country. And I still remember strolling in the streets of Lisbon, on the cobblestone streets, grabbing a pastel nata and having a coffee, and just being mesmerized by this beautiful buildings of Portugal. So yeah, that made quite an impression on me. And I was actually busy planning a holiday with my mother going to Turkey. And the moment that I set foot in Portugal, I contacted her and I said to her, like, "Change holiday, there's a change. It's gonna be Portugal," because it was just so unique. It was so different to me, and I find Portugal to be very old school. It's almost like you're still like living in the 80s, especially when you go to some old traditional restaurants. It's like absolutely nothing changed, and yeah, I really like that. It's quite unique.
Yeah, it's funny. When we went on vacation this past fall, we pretty much did the same exact thing you did. You know, kind of like fell in love with the city over pastel de nata and coffee, and looking at just the architecture. You know, it's just so crazy. Like the colors that they use, you know, the tile work, just everything about it, and just knowing how old that, you know, city is. It's amazing.
Right, yeah.
So, did you speak Portuguese beforehand, or did you know Portuguese, or how was that learning experience?
No. So after I received the job offer to move here to Portugal, I started learning Portuguese for myself. I had a handbook that I worked through like a chapter a day, and then I did that for about a month. And then when I came to Portugal, I also did like a 4-week intense course at a school in Lisbon, which I found to be quite good. So that was what I did just before coming here.
Wow. So how quickly did it take for you to learn to the point where you felt comfortable speaking it every day?
I would say probably about 2-3 months. I was able to put sentences together, especially with the 4-week intense course. That changed a lot for me as well. And I would always, like, when I go out to shops and restaurants, I would always try and speak a bit of Portuguese. And they quickly notice, obviously, that you don't speak Portuguese, so they easily change to English. And I first thought, like, oh my goodness, my Portuguese is that bad. Like every time they change, but the Portuguese like to practice their English as well. So don't be offended if they change to English just to like help you.
I know, it's so amazing. It's the one country, and given there's probably many other countries, where English is so widely spoken there that, you know, even if you're in a smaller village, every local is so nice. Even if they don't speak English, they'll still help you or find that one person that speaks English in that village to help you. So very reassuring for those that can't pick up a language as quickly as 3 months, because that's hard. The pronunciation, I've been learning it, and I will say it's a tricky thing.
Yeah.
So when you first moved there back in 2015, did you find that the cost of living was pretty much on par with it is now, or did you find that it was a lot more affordable back in 2015 in comparison to now, or how would you say the cost of living in general is there?
I would say that it's more or less the same from the time that I came. I haven't noticed like a major inflation on prices and that. On average, it's about 0.5% per year. However, for the year of 2020, there was 0%. So that's not a lot. And then again, if I look at Dubai, where I lived previously, wow, I have to say prices increased a lot, especially since they implemented the VAT of about 5% in 2018. So that's already 5% just on the VAT. Then you still add the inflation on top of that. So, but here in Portugal, I'm quite impressed that it's more or less stable, and inflation of about 0.5% on average, I think is quite good.
Yeah, most of the time I don't think you would really notice that minor inflation, which is great.
No, not really, no.
Okay, perfect. And then for those that don't know, you currently live in Sintra. What made you choose Sintra out of all places?
So I didn't want to be in the huzz and buzz of the Lisbon city centre, and I wanted to be close enough for my husband to be able to drive to work, which he's working in Lisbon. And Sintra has lots of beautiful forests, gardens, mountains, and you hear like a lot of, in the mornings, especially when I wake up, I hear a lot of chirping of birds, and I find it to be quite quiet and peaceful, in touch with nature, yet you're just 30-minute drive away from our Lisbon city centre. So some say Sintra is like a page torn from a fairy tale storybook.
Oh, So it's only a 30-minute drive, you said, correct?
Yeah, depending on where exactly you want to be within Lisbon.
So is that with traffic? Do you normally find that there's a lot of traffic going into Lisbon? Now, traffic's always, everyone has a different, idea of what traffic is. But I guess, where we live, it's bumper to bumper traffic. So I don't know what traffic typically is in Portugal, but would you find that there's a lot of cars that creates that traffic, or if there's no traffic on one day, is it much shorter?
Yeah, at the moment it's gotten much better because of COVID. A lot of people are working from home as well. But no traffic. It will take us 30 minutes to get into Lisbon Centre. And then when there's traffic, I would say probably like 45 to 50 minutes one would be able to get into town, like during rush hour in the morning, and then the same in the evening as well.
Oh, okay.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. So as most people don't know, you're pregnant. You are just about to give birth. No one can tell, I'm sure, if they watch this video. You don't look pregnant at all. So you're probably just all baby bump. Well, congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you very much.
How far along are you, or when is your due date?
So I'm currently 37 weeks. And my expected due date is on the 19th of May, but most probably it will come earlier. I went to my doctor just on Friday, and he said that most probably it's going to come earlier. So probably about a week before the 19th of May. So yeah, just around the corner.
Do you feel like you're ready? Are you ready to be, you're a first-time mom. Are you ready to have sleepless nights and all that fun stuff?
I'm already having sleepless nights. I'm really starting to feel uncomfortable now, and having a couple of pregnancy things. So I just can't wait for it to be over and that he's born. But yeah, 2 more weeks, I guess. So.
Oh my gosh, 2 weeks and your whole life will change, believe me. So how did you find your current doctor?
My doctor was recommended by a friend of mine, and he has more of a natural approach. He follows a humanized birth care model, I would say, and he respects the birthing plan of the mother, which sometimes is rare to find in some places. And many doctors here as well, they watch the clock. If you don't progress fast enough, they can easily turn your birth into like an instrumental birth.
Wow.
So that's the reason, why I went to that clinic and went specifically to that doctor.
So how would you rate your prenatal care? Because I think a lot of people who are contemplating having a child there, they're just unsure how prenatal care is in Portugal. So how would you rate it?
So I did a mixture between private and public care, because obviously with a public you get a lot of things for free when it comes to medical appointments or prescriptions and things like that. So as I said, I did like a mixture between the two, and I found the nurses to be extremely meticulous here, especially in the public clinics. Every time I went there, they would like fill in like a medical booklet and fill in all of my information, do my blood pressure tests. I found them to be quite meticulous on that. The only issue that I had was with the echoes. That was a little bit difficult to find somebody to actually do the echoes where it was covered by the public healthcare services. But all in all, with all of my appointments, jabs that I've done, medication prescribed, appointments, I didn't pay more than 30 euros. For everything except for the echoes. The echoes are because I did that in the private in the end. They also did, as I said, they did the whooping cough injection. They gave me the whooping cough injection. Also prescribed me folic acid, which I didn't pay for. Then you can also go to the dentist, which they cover completely if you need anything to be fixed or whatever. So nothing. I didn't pay anything for that. So really no complaints. I was quite impressed with the process.
That's amazing. And then your doctor, would you say that he has really good bedside manners, as in like when you have lots of questions, is he very comforting in one sense when it comes to your first child? I'm sure you have a million questions that you have with your pregnancy, Yeah,
but I also read up a lot of things, so I found a lot of like basic information and things like that. But I found him to be quite comforting and very, very welcoming. I felt at ease. I'm speaking with him about some issues and questions and things like that I had. I'm quite comfortable and happy with that.
Oh, that's great. great. So with you going back to work, are you planning on going back to work after you have after you have your baby?
Yes, I am. I am. The thing is just that here in Portugal, your daycare centers and creches are quite expensive, especially if you look at the salary earned. You could easily pay from 350 to about 650 euros a month, just having daycare or putting your child in a creche. So, and I also think that the first 2 years of a child's life is quite important to have a lot of interaction and attention from the mother. So, in the beginning, I think that I would first have him here with me in the house, and then on days that I need to go outside, maybe it will be for like a couple of hours or so, I will get somebody in to look after him. Luckily with my work, I'm very flexible. So, and even if I do have to go out, it's usually with notice. So I could arrange somebody to come here. However, later on, I do feel that I want to put him in a creche or something like that, because I also think that it is very important for development as well. So
right. That's great. Are you currently working as we speak, or what is your profession?
So I work as a buyer's agent. Yeah, I'm still continuing going. Things have quieted down a little bit. Because of COVID, there's not a lot of people coming to Portugal at the moment. But now and again, I do go out, but not very often, no.
So what made you become a realtor?
I've always been really interested in property since young, and I still remember jumping in the car with my mom on a Sunday afternoon, walking into Sunday show houses, not because we were interested in buying property, but just because we loved seeing property. I remember finding myself spending a lot of time looking at property in my free time, because I liked understanding how the market grows and what deals were out there, and I was looking for a new challenge in my career. The only drawback for me was that you would only receive commission once a property is sold. So that was a little bit of a drawback for me. But my husband saw my passion, and he persuaded me to bite the bullet and go for it. And I have to say that it was the best career decision that I've ever made. I initially started off as a real estate agent, and I had a lot of pressure on listing houses, but I didn't really enjoy that part of the business. I acted many times as like a designated buyer's agent. I really connect with each of my clients. I really put myself in their shoes. It is as exciting for me as it is for them when we do finally find that dream home. And I absolutely love what I do. And as the saying goes, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
So true.
Yeah.
So what would you say the benefits of having a buyer's agent versus an agent who works for both sides?
Okay, so a buyer's agent will get like a good understanding of your needs and your objectives of what you are looking for. They help you with the search as well. I mean, so many times it's difficult for people trying to understand what areas they are looking at, what sizes they're looking at, because even size-wise here, things are slightly different as well. Trying to understand what is the built area, what is your useful area. So with a buyer's agent, you can explain exactly what is your goals, what is your objectives, what are you looking for, and then they go out and do all of that search for you. So it saves you a lot of time as well, not having to spend endless hours on the internet trying to understand what what you are looking at. And the other thing as well is that they use their partnership networks, so they have access to like off-market listings or silent listings, as you may know it. They would also like shortlist a couple of properties and then schedule the viewings for you, so you don't have to do that. Can sometimes be a little bit difficult to reach out to some agencies. Some of them never respond. I don't know if you've had that experience already, but I've had a lot of clients tell me that. I would be able to arrange all of that for you. And then sometimes they can do like a visit on your behalf if you're not physically here in Portugal, which is a big benefit right now, especially during COVID. I've lately been having people buying property remotely, so not physically here in Portugal. So I would go out to the property, have a look at it for them, and give them my unbiased feedback on each of the property, compare the the positives, with the negative, and then obviously support you with the entire buying process and the negotiations. And then lastly is the after sales guidance. So they would assist you in transferring the utility bills onto the new owner's name, and then also connect you with local service providers such as cleaning services, garden and pool services, and maintenance. Just ensure that you are really well settled in here in Portugal.
Wow, that's amazing. So what would you say the percentage of people buying homes sight unseen versus people being there and purchasing homes? What would you say the percentage of your clientele is?
Wow, it's increased. It's increased a lot lately. I've been having lots of calls of people just saying like, "Well, I'll buy it without even seeing it." But before it was very rare. I didn't have anybody do that.
Pretty much with COVID situation, more people are just buying sight unseen.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
I've done in December. I've done one in the Algarve. Right now I'm busy. The lawyers are just working on things, but another one as well, unseen. Yesterday I had another call from another lady as well. Also gonna do it unseen.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't know if I would be able to do something like that, but it is quite interesting how things have changed now.
I know. So you sell homes in the Algarve. You live in Sintra. What's your territory of where the areas that you sell in?
I work mostly all over Portugal, specifically, or I focus more on Lisbon, Cascais, Sintra, and then also the Algarve. The Algarve's been getting a lot of interest lately, especially from the American side as well. They really like the Algarve.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. It looks so sunny and pretty. I mean, it looks like you're on vacation all the time. So it's
Exactly, yeah, and the prices are not bad either. It's like
yeah.
you get so much more bang for your buck. So I think it's good.
Right. Okay. So coming from South Africa, where you're looking at a bunch of homes down there with your mom, and then living in Dubai for a short time in the Middle East, and then now in Portugal, what would you say the differences between the homes in Portugal compared to where you came from?
So here in Portugal, if we're talking about the layouts of the houses on the inside, it's quite rare to find a house where it is open plan. They like to separate the kitchen area from the living room, not completely like flowing. There's not like a flowing connection between the kitchen and the living room. And even new builds, so even brand new construction, they are doing the layout like that, which is quite impressive, because years back they were not the ones cooking. They had workers that cook for them. They didn't want anything to do with that. Close them in the kitchen with a smell. And yeah, so that for me was quite interesting and something to adjust to. I mean, even the house that I'm living in at the moment is the same thing as well. My kitchen is so separated, and I love cooking and baking, but sometimes I just feel like I'm just working there in the kitchen. I said to my husband, if I have an open plan kitchen, I would just be able to make so much more food.
I know. Coming from the States, my house is open plan, and that's pretty much any new build is open planned, and it's great. But I can't imagine being cooped up inside of like a small kitchen just making food. I mean, I guess in one sense it is nice though, if you have 3 kids running around, you just want peace and quiet, you can close that door, but it is nice to be able to watch a show or something, or just even have conversation.
Yeah.
So that's always nice.
Then the other thing is laundry rooms. It's almost unheard of. The washing machine would be in the kitchen, and we don't use dryers here. I know Americans come in, it's like, where's the dryer? There's no dryer. We don't use dryers. We've got great weather. So the washing would hang outside or inside the house with the doors slightly open. In Lisbon, I'm sure you've probably seen how the washing hangs like on the outside as well, outside of the buildings. The washing machine is in the kitchen area. There's no dryer, as I said.
I can only imagine on a windy day, I'd be so concerned about my clothes blinging off.
It's so funny. I remember a friend of mine, which is in Lisbon, and she had, like the hanging of the clothing on the outside of the building. And then like now and again, some items of her would fall down into the balcony of her neighbor. And then a neighbor would be so polite and just come and hang the things like by the front of her door. And she's like, oh, okay. Nothing's fallen down, and he wouldn't say or complain or nothing, and just like nicely bring it back.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was actually kind of surprised about the washer and dryer situation too. I mean, I did see sometimes they would be out in the garage or just like outside of the house in one sense. So that was, yeah, definitely something for myself who's looking at homes too. It was interesting to see. If you wanted to renovate a home, how hard is it to find contractors there? And what is the whole process of if you wanted to go in and renovate a home?
Well, that can be quite tricky, especially being not even just being a foreigner. I mean, my husband is Portuguese. Getting somebody to do something in your house, do changes and things like that can be one big headache. I'll just give you an example. We wanted to install like a built-in closet in one area here in our living room, and we spoke with a contractor in early December, and it's still not yet. We're nearly entering into May. My husband's been messaging him like every week, and he would send us like now and again, he would send some pictures of how far he is busy building this cupboard now. So I said, I hope it's coming this year. I just checked with him actually earlier on this morning. I said, when is the guy coming? Is he still coming this year? Because really, it's been taking 5 months. So it is quite hard, and it's not just being foreigner that it's going to be hard to do that type of stuff, but also for Portuguese as my husband, it's even hard for him, speaking the language. Those type of things are not really that easy, so it's not really something that I recommend people do. It's probably better to buy a house that's already been renovated, that is turnkey, ready to move in. I think that is always the better route to go.
Okay, so when buyers are looking for homes in Portugal, what should they really look for as far as for a home? Like, what things should they look out for? Things to notice, things to be concerned about?
Okay, so I would always say that to get a survey done on the property that you intend of buying, especially if you're buying a property remotely, just to ensure that there are no like hidden issues or something like that, because sometimes what owners do is they do like a quick fix prior to listing the property and putting it up for sale. And I've also had a situation where an owner has hidden like an infiltrated area with a furniture piece, and when I went there, I couldn't see anything. It was the window, and just underneath that he had the furniture piece. So literally on the day of handover, I got the surprise. So yeah, then it was completely infiltrated, and it was a very difficult situation now getting in lawyers, because you buy the property as is. So spending a little bit more money on getting in a surveyor is highly recommended, because they can save you, on costs, exactly what you'll be spending. They can give you budgets, and they can point out the issues. And then also what could be done is you could use that later on when you negotiate the price. Say, for example, the surveyor would say 10,000 euros will be spent on repair work. So you can add that into the negotiations at a later stage then as well. And then the other thing, the point number 2, is that to work with a lawyer to check for illegal construction. So since getting approval from the municipality can be a lengthy process here in Portugal, so many just jump the gun and start constructing without getting the permission from the municipality. And should the municipality notice this, any of those illegal parts would need to be demolished, and you as the owner of the property would be accountable for those expenses. Your property floor plans should always correspond with your property tax document as well as your property registration certificate. And then point number 3, when you make an offer on a property, ensure that you mention everything that you want included in the deal. So you could even mention on there your fridge, your washing machine, your light fittings, even embedded items or things that are attached. It would be better to mention that within your offer, because often owners can take these things with them. I've had a situation where the owner has taken the water boiler out of the house, and also the light fitting. So it was literally just wires hanging down from the roof. So you could imagine the first day that the new owner walks into his house, he's got no warm water, he's got no lights, so it's a shower in the dark. It was a bit,
I don't
yeah.
think people realize that things that convey in your home country doesn't convey in Portugal. Like, I was surprised that the refrigerator doesn't convey, the stoves, all the appliances. You know, even here, if we have curtain rods, they convey. Anything that's attached to the wall conveys to the next owner. Like, I bought a mounted TV stand, built-in fixture, and that conveys, even though I could take it down. So it's interesting that in Portugal, the lightings don't convey or, you know, transfer to the owners or whatnot.
And light fittings, to me, I thought when we moved into our house, I said, I really don't think people would take it. I mean, that was so long ago when we moved in. Yes, I didn't know how, what we're going to actually get. And he said to me, well, they'll probably take it with them. I said, who's going to travel with light fittings? And you even see that on the selling platforms. You see where people are selling lights for €5, €10, just selling lights. I mean,
wow.
Then you walk in and you've got wires hanging from the roof, and you as a new buyer now need to go out, put something there. I mean, you haven't even decided how you want to do the whole layout and everything, and then you have to install the lights. So it can be quite frustrating. So it's good to mention these things from the beginning. I want this and this and this included, and so that you have that in writing on the contract, so you can always fall back on that.
That's so crazy. Well, that's good to know. All these are interesting.
And then number 4 would be to ensure that all your condominium fees, as you guys know it as HOA, Homeowners Association fees, are paid up. Quite interesting, because the new owner here would be responsible for those fees. So I always make sure that I get a letter from the condominium management team just to make sure that there are no fees outstanding, because you as a new owner would take over the expenses. And you'd be surprised, a lot of people that don't pay it, and they've got thousands that they owe to the condominium. So that's something to watch out for as well. And then number 5 is be aware of people using room fresheners when you go out on viewings. I remember going to see a house with a client, and even before entering the house, I could smell all these room freshener that they were spraying, and I thought obviously they're trying to hide something. So eventually, when we walked inside, we saw that the entire house was covered with wallpaper. Even the bathrooms were covered in wallpaper. And later on, you could actually see some parts of the wallpaper that was lifting up, and when you pull it up, it was just covered. The whole house was just covered in mold. Yeah, so one needs to be careful. That's why I say one needs to be careful when it comes to room freshener. It might be that somebody's trying to hide something.
Is it really popular to have an inspector come out?
No, it's not. It's not very common here in Portugal, but it is becoming something that people are looking out for, especially since there are lots of people coming from UK, France, and America. A lot of people do that. It's quite a standard. So a lot of people are starting to do that here in Portugal as well.
Is it easy to find someone that is a home inspector?
Yeah, it is relatively easy. I find it to be quite expensive for what it is, and it would also depend on the size of the house. So for example, I've done one inspection now recently in the Algarve, and it was 650 plus VAT. And then I've done a similar sized home, or even a smaller house in the area of Cascais, closer to Lisbon here, and was nearly 1,200 euros for that. So,
wow, for the same work. So the inspector did the same exact thing at both places.
Yeah, so it would depend on the location as well of where you are and that. Yeah, so in the Algarve you get a lot of people from the UK, so a lot more people are doing these inspections, so the competition is more, which obviously brings the prices down. Whereas here in Lisbon, there are, but not as many as there are in the Algarve. So I guess that's the reason maybe why it is more expensive as well.
With the homes in the Algarve versus Cascais, would you say that, I know we kind of talked about the open plan, a little bit different expectations when living in that area. Would you say that with the Algarve, the homes are completely different than in Cascais, Lisbon, Sintra area, just because of the weather or the wants and needs down there being different?
I would say it is very similar. It is very, very similar, yeah. Obviously, it depends on if there are people that already renovated the house and then transformed it into an open plan and modernized it a little bit, but yeah, fairly the same, I would say.
Okay, all right, so let's go into the comparison, my favorite part, to be honest, because I love knowing knowing how much things cost over there. So what I did was I got some grocery list, which I shared with you, just typical, I think, everyday groceries, especially if you have children, because I had put some diapers and formula cost in case you are going to feed your child formula, as well as we're going down restaurants, and we're doing mid to higher range restaurants. So this one is if you like a more of a lavish lifestyle. Let's do a box of Cheerios. A box of Cheerios here in the States, and given these prices I took off of target.com. So for Americans, I think you all are familiar with Target. So a box of Cheerios is $3.79.
So here, a box of Cheerios would be €3.50.
I didn't check to see the sizes. I'm assuming that sizes here are probably a little bit bigger than the sizes that you guys have there.
The one that I have here is 300 grams.
Oh, I will have to double check, and I'll put the size below, but I'm pretty sure it's probably bigger. Next, I did a pound of grapes, and that was $4.
And here, a large bag of grapes, or €3 per kilogram. €3 per kilogram.
I'm like, oh man, I should have changed the conversion of kilogram versus pounds.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so I did a jug of orange juice. It's $3.69.
And here it would be €3.50 for freshly squeezed orange juice of 1 liter.
Oh, mine is Tropicana, so it's, I don't think, well, they might say freshly squeezed, but it's not.
No, this one is 100. You can actually do it at the shop. So they've got the oranges in there, and then you just squeeze out your juice, and that's €3.50.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
Yeah.
A package of Oreo cookies is $3.19.
Okay, so here I have a 150 gram packet at €1.20.
€1.20. Okay, I will post somewhere the conversion below. Formula. I did a 20 ounce of Similac formula for $28.99, which is 5 cents a gram.
Okay, so on my side I have €19 for 800 gram tin, which is Nestle.
Okay, a pack of diapers. So I did Pampers size 2, 29 count for $8.99. And this doesn't include taxes. All my prices do not include taxes.
Wow.
The taxes would be in addition.
Oh, okay. Now these ones are already, this is what you pay. Yeah. So here I have size 2, which is between 4 and 8 kilograms. 34 pieces at €6.99. So that's about 20 cents per unit.
Oh, wow. So it's actually, I think, a little bit cheaper to buy diapers over there.
Yeah.
But here it's so crazy because we have and the Pampers are, I would say, on the higher end because you can buy store brand and whatnot. But we have packs going up to like 140 counts. So if you want to buy those big boxes and have diapers for a while, you can. Okay, a pair of Levi jeans. So I just went on the Levi.com website, but most people in America know that you can buy it so many places for a lot less. But their regular price is $89 for their Levi 501s, which I think is their popular brand. But right now they have a discount where it's 30% off. So it's $62.65 for a pair of Levi jeans.
Okay. Yeah, it is more on the expensive side. Levi is a big brand here. So you would look at about 70 to 80 euros for Levi.
That's pretty comparable still, you know, because I was looking at, because we have a lot of outlet malls here and just trying to see how much Levi's cost. And you can easily buy a pair of Levi's for $20 here, but yeah, but they're different. I think the material over there might be a little bit better than the material here because there's just so many different ranges of Levi's. Okay, this one kind of shocked me, and I don't know why because I have 3 kids, so I don't know why it shocked me. Okay, but a car seat. Okay, so I did a Graco, which is a pretty popular brand here. Graco 4-in-1. So it's a convertible 4-in-1s from like infant all the way up to toddler. Is $280.
Okay, the one that I've picked was just a baby comfort car seat, and that's €100. But it's not the convertible one. The convertible one you would find for about, I think 350 euros for the ones that I looked at, but I haven't bought that one yet. At a later stage I will get that, because this one for 100 from Baby Comfort is literally just like a hook on, hook off, so it can fit in the car. Doesn't have a place, and then it hooks onto your pram or your stroller. But those ones that you're referring to that stays within the car at 360 like swivel, I would say is about 350 euros.
Okay, so pretty comparable, because if you change it over, I guess if you change over the dollars to the euros, it might be a little bit less.
And it depends on the brand. It depends on the brand as well. That's the other thing also.
Would you say there's a lot of different brands to choose from, or are they limited?
No, there are lots of brands. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Do you guys also have Baby Comfort? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know. I haven't looked that one up. I feel like probably we can find it on Amazon. I don't know if it's something that is it might be. I'm sure a lot of people are going to say, of course I can find it here. I don't know. I only know a handful of brands. So okay, so going on to restaurants. So for breakfast, there's a breakfast, like a bagel place here, because in America we have bagels for breakfast, you know. We have pretty big breakfasts here. But I did a simple, there's Puccio's New York Deli bagel sandwich with sausage, egg, and cheese, and that's $5.75. And if I were to add a small mocha coffee, it's about $4. All in all, with tax and tips, because we have the tip here too. So before tax and tip, it comes out to $9.75. And with tax and tips, we're looking about $12.30 for a pretty basic breakfast.
Wow, that's a lot. So here you can go to a bakery, Padaria Portuguesa, and you can get a sandwich. It could be with cheese and ham sandwich, which is the most popular one, with a croissant, with a coffee, and you pay €3.
Oh my gosh. I can have lunch or breakfast for a week with the same price.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that is actually pretty, I mean, I guess it could be on the higher side. You can probably go to like a cheaper place. Like Dunkin' Donuts is really popular over here, or something like that. Maybe pay a little bit less, but your $6 for a sandwich is pretty common here. Okay, so for a lunch, for like a mid-range lunch where you sit down, I guess all places over there sit down, but here it's, you know, sit down, have, you know, a friend and eat and everything. So I did Sweetwater Restaurant, which is part of the Great American Chain Restaurant. They own a bunch of different brands. And I got a penne primavera with broccolini, mushrooms, asparagus, tomato, basil, olive oil, garlic, and parmesan. These are just noodles for $16. But if you wanted to add chicken, it's an extra $3, or shrimp is an extra $4, or you can put both if you want both for $6. If you just want a water is served here free. If you want a soda, you'll add another $3. So the total, not including tax and tip, is $25, or $30 really when you're adding tax and tip. You're spending $30 per person. Restaurant.
Wow. Okay, so yeah, it would basically be half. You probably spend about €15 all in all. So there are many places that offer like a plate of the day, depending on areas. Really depends on areas, depends on different restaurants. But I'm just referring to a small little place that I loved going to, which is in Cascais, and they had different things for the day. For example, like a steak with veggies on the side with rice. You would pay about €7 for the plate.
Wow.
Yeah, €7 for that. And then if you want a cool drink on the side, probably about €2 extra for that. So yeah, 7 plus the €2 drink, really €9. So yeah.
That's crazy. Okay.
And then if you want to eat outside in a restaurant, usually the main plates are between 13 and 15. And this is not like a proper sit down, nice restaurant. I mean, not your high end, but a nice restaurant, I would say 13 to 15 euros on a main course. Your vegetarian dishes are a little bit cheaper, so you can get that between 10 and 13, and then 13 to 18 I would say is more meat type of dishes, but more than 18 it's quite rare to find that high on a main meat plate. Yeah,
that's crazy. So I'm assuming that like noodle and pasta dishes are less expensive.
Yes, if it depends, if it's vegetarian, as I said, then it would probably be between 10 and 13. If it's got meat, then I would say between 13 and 18 euros, not more.
And your prices already includes the tax and tips already in
Yes,
the price.
yes,
So
yes.
that's crazy. All right, so for our last one for dinner, we just chose something comparable, which is like a sushi set menu. I chose Sushi Taro, that's located in DC. So it's an 8-course set menu. So it has like first, second course, it has sashimi, there's an appetizer, there's even like a pre-tasting type thing. I don't even know what the first course, but it has like assortment of seasonal stuff. So it has all the main dishes and everything, and it has dessert too. Per person, it's $100 for an 8-course meal for sushi in DC.
So I compared it with a very similar restaurant here in Portugal, which is Miduri, and it is a Michelin star restaurant. And I compared it with an 8-course meal, offering a soup as an entrance, a couple of sashimi pieces, sushi as a main, and then a couple of other things, including your dessert. And you're looking at about 125 euros per person. That includes the taxes as well.
Wow, so if you're saying with my 100, you're probably going to be leaving out the door, probably paying about $130 with tax and tips. So it's pretty comparable as far as price-wise for an upscale sushi place. I mean, mine's not a Michelin star, so you beat me on that one. But
Yes.
oh, that was fun. I mean, I loved learning about different prices and comparing.
Oh yeah, that is. It's very interesting to see and compare.
Well, Charlaine, if anyone wanted to reach out to you and get to know you, and how would they be able to reach out to you?
They can just reach out to me via email at info@kuwabit.com, or alternatively, they can visit the website and then ask to be contacted. Website is kuwabit.com.
I'll be sure to link everything below so that people can access that. And I really appreciate all your time with this interview and everything.
It was such a pleasure, so much fun.
It was so much fun. And best of luck with your delivery and your new baby. You're going to have so much fun.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks so much. Have a good day.
Thanks. Speak soon. Bye.